it does provide, you know, a real point of difference, right? The ability to set goals, and that's you as coaches setting them for yourself, setting them for your team, setting them for your players, provides a real point of difference if you're trying to get consistently high performance. I feel like me as a coach, one of the biggest bloody frustrations you have from 1 week you're brilliant, is when you're off. And what the hell was different? Trained all week, you know, what was different? Part of the difference is most of the difference is up here. And we neglect to train that part of our players, unfortunately. Yet it is one of the 4 pillars that we really need for constant high performance. Okay, now I first got introduced to this back in the early 80s with a guy who was ran a karate dojo, and I was coaching representative Colts, and I had this problem that these guys were all over the bloody shop, as all the young guys are. And he said, look, I'll show you how we can get these guys consistently to perform to the top of their level consistently. And it did it. It was great. I started using it in representative cricket, and I was a pretty average cricketer, but I ended up playing just below first class level, which was pretty amazing for the lack of ability I had, to be honest. And you know, then got involved with a company called New Zealand Sports Mind, delivering these sort of techniques to guys that play multiple sports, from jockeys to swimmers, tennis players, golf players, etc. Teaching techniques about how to actually train your mind. And I think it's the biggest failing of us as rugby coaches is that we don't touch this. Yet it will really help us if we do. Okay? So the four pillars of performance to me, and you know, all of us sort of spend a lot of time coaching rugby schools, you know, our catch pass, our contact drills around tackle, all that sort of stuff, right, our position-specific stuff. We spend quite a bit of time pre-season coaching fitness, and we all sort of have a concept of that, we get someone in to train, right? And we can all understand a technical approach, you know, the playing philosophy, what our game plan is, but we're saying not many of us touch mental skills. And it's about optimising performance and having consistency in your performance. So to me, there's 4 areas. There's goal setting, which I'm going to talk about tonight. There's preparation and focusing, using such techniques as visualisation, affirmations, verbal triggers to help your guys perform consistently. I'm happy to talk about those at some other time. There's ones about coping strategies, controlling the things you can control. Teaching self-discipline, what we do under pressure, how we can perform under pressure, right, what makes teams that perform really well under pressure as opposed to those that fall to bits and get flaky under pressure and lose discipline. And I've included in there the things about personal management and well-being, the things about nutrition, about preparation, around drugs and alcohol, because that's all part of the mental approach to footy. And our role as coaches is to develop our players. And if we should be touching on that, I believe, as much as making them good people, as much as we are trying to make them good footballers. Right? So that's to me the 4 pillars. What do we want to set goals? This is where I think we should set goals. Is that it gives us direction, it tells us where, it gives us a place of where we want to go. Now we can all say, okay, the season is we want to win the end of the season, but in reality, that's not a good goal, because it doesn't tell us how we're going to get there, what happens if we fall over, what happens if we had the biggest pack of bloody uncoordinated footballers there was, winning the season wasn't a realistic thing. So it gives us direction that we can fit into the plan where we want to go. Right? And you should all have goals about where your teams want to go, and about where you want to go as a coach. What is your goal as a coach in terms of having a coach? It gives us motivation, it gives our players motivation. If we set targets for them, they can be motivated to achieve them. And it can be the simple things like the stats that you see on the TV all the time, if you're setting goals for your team. Number of tackles or percentage of tackle success that your team might want to make. Number of line breaks you might want to make in a game. Right? Number of line out skills you might want to get, turnovers, clean takes, or it could be an individual struggling. You know, I want you to get the ball in your hand 5 times. If you've got a lazy footballer, we did this with the under 12 development team last year. Chris has gone with a bucket arm, hit a boy that we picked, and we were great control, but state children's team had no motivation. So just set him a goal. He had to touch the ball 3 times. He was a Wesley. He had to touch the ball 3 times a half. The guy spent the next 2 games being a champion because we gave him something to motivate him to do. Right? It can be around the core specific areas. You know, like a prop. I want you to dominate that prop. I want you to win 200. Catch that ball, whatever it is. You can use it to motivate the players by setting them really simple goals and tasks. It gives us accountability. If we set a goal, we've got a way of measuring how we're performing. Are we going towards it or are we going away from it? And so if we don't know where we're going, we're not going to have any accountability about our performance. And it's about performance. It's not about outcome. It's about our performance, because if we perform well, our outcomes will take care of themselves. It's about giving us confidence. If we've done our work, and we know we've done our work, and we report we've done our work, you know, we've had 5 bloody good scrums of training, we've had 10 minutes of really great team run without putting and making a mistake from the ball down, it gives us confidence that we've done the work to go and do that in the game. So when you're doing your trainings, set them goals. When you're doing your team run, I want 10 minutes, and I want 1 or 2 head mistakes or whatever. I want 10 good weights. I want 3 good scrums. But set them a goal. Set them a target. And that gives them the confidence when you go to the game and you've done the work. It's like when you're doing your fitness work. Set them a time. Set them a number. It's not just you're going to do press-ups. You know, you want a number to do, or you want to do a speed thing. So I want you to do it in 10 seconds, 12 seconds, whatever you want to do. Set them something that motivates them, because when they've done it, it gives them the confidence. And it gives us a reason to celebrate success. And too often we focus on outcomes, and there's success being outcomes, and winning seasons or winning games, and when we lose, we bloody lost. We might have played the best game all bloody year and still lost. And if we had set some parameters around what we were doing as a performance, then we can celebrate that success. And in seasons where you play the same guys 2 or 3 times, you can adjust the goal. The first time you might have a 60-point ticket. Your goal the second time is, look, we're going to cut that margin down to 30 points and we're going to score a try. Third time, I'm going to cut that to 20 points and I want 2 tries. Right? That can be success. Okay, so it gives us a reason to celebrate, which keeps people interested in coming back. Especially if you're coaching kids, it gives them the motivation to come back. I had a rec team when I first started taking kids rec football. I think they were an under 12 team, playing in Canterbury. I was in the rural areas. We got done 97 nil the first time we played one of those. 3 years later, we just set goals along the way that we would cut that margin, cut that margin, cut that margin. Half of the team there played professionally. That's fine. They had all the stars, but we had the motivation, we had the goals, we had the direction. Right? Nothing else we did different. So, measure success. It gives you a reason to celebrate. Types of goals. It's a staircase approach. You need to take off little steps. So we start at the top. I guess what we all want is some sort of outcome goal. So if you're a player, the outcome goal is a selection in a team, a rec team, or first 15, or go from a bench player to a starting player, right? You as a coach, it might be that you want to coach a certain level. Okay? You as a team, it might be that you want to win something, or end up with some trophies, or have a certain ratio at the end of the year. But you've got to have ways to get there. And that's where these other goals come out. Your performance goals, if you come back, is the ones that lead to the outcome. What do I need to perform at to get that outcome I want? Okay, so if I want to have a win-loss ratio or certain things, what do I need to do? What are my key indicators, my key performance indicators in the field around things like set play, about breakdowns, about turnovers, that I need to achieve to get there? If I'm a player and I want to get selected in a rep team, and I know I've got a weakness on tackling, what is the performance that I've got to do? The goal might be to improve my tackling, then how do I improve my tackling? What do I have to do to improve my tackling? Okay, it might be that I need to get fitter. What is it about fitness? Is it running? So I need to do half an hour, 3 days a week. Right? Or is it speed? I need to be able to do a certain amount of weekends or line out throws. Set your throws targets, though, really easy. Right? 50 throws a week. You know, at least 80% success rate. understand why I use for my flows. No matter how old they are, they don't be able to do that or I want to do the ways. So your performance goals are the things that you're performing to get to your outcome. My goals, for example, around performance and outcome are to improve every single player that I coach in at least one aspect of their outcome. Every team that I coach improve their outcome. From what it was. If I've done that, I've taken the worst team in the grade, and they went from not winning any games to winning 2 games. The next season, that was a success. Right? Every team that I've taken, I think I can say about 90% of them I've been able to achieve my goal. They've improved their overall outcome. But I base it back on what performances that I need to get. Very few of those teams won championships. But they were actually successful in achieving what they wanted. We come back from performance goals, it's our training goals. Like performance is what we want on the field. So set your players' goals on the field as individuals about certain core aspects, carries, tackles, kicks. Set your team goals. I want an 80% tackle success. I want a 90% line out success. I want 4 line breaks a game. Because line breaks will lead to tries. Okay, it's not how many tries we score, because tries will come all sorts of ways. But if I make 4 successful line breaks, I'm likely to get at least 2 of them converted into tries. Okay? If I make 90% of my tackles, defensively I probably win the game. If I limit my turnovers to 5 or less in a game, I'm likely to have 1 second phase play. So your training is, how do you train to get those performances? What do I need to do to get those performances? And a lot of that can be around fitness. Maybe I'm going to make them do this. As a coach, it might be, I'm going to run my trainings on time. All players hate going over time and periods, particularly not going over time. So one of your training goals might be, all my trainings are going to finish on quarter time. Right? Might be how you use your language of training. Might be how you conduct your half-time talk, your post-match meeting, post-match review. If you've got an anger problem, we all start coaching, most of us have, because we've been action on the plane. Some of us it just lasts a bit longer than others. If you identify that as a problem with you as a coach or an area you want to set a goal around it, so that you can then practice about delivering a nice half-time talk that is calm and logical, because your players will pick up that much more than some ranting and raving sort of thing. So you can set your own goals around training and around performance, as well as you can set them for your teams or your teams. And you start where you are, you don't status and where you want to go. So you're climbing the staircase, a lot of little steps. Right? Now we've got what we call good goals are smart goals. They're specific. They are detailed on what you want to achieve. Be specific about what you want to achieve rather than general. The goal that you set for a player to get fitter is fitness. What is it about fitness you want to do? You want to be faster, stronger, or stamina? What is it you want to do? I want you to be better right out forward. How much better? When you be better throw, better goal kicker, how much better? 75% success rate from the goal kickers. I want a halfback to get in the first 5 points of the time. Be specific about your goals. Okay? They can get a bit more wishy-washy when they come to outcomes. Win more than we lose. Get in the top 4, that's all right. That's all right. Get in the playoffs. Because even there you can reset your goals. Okay? Make them measurable. You need to be able to measure progress and when you achieve success. You need to know when you've got the accelerator, you've got the accelerator of players. You set that player that goal and you've got it, acknowledge it. Yeah, mate, you've done really well. I can see that progress. I can see that development. And you'll get them back. You'll do it. Right? You keep on his case and he's actually achieved what you thought he would achieve. He's going to go to you. So, I can't say, well, okay, so make them measurable. It's easier around fitness ones because it's number of reps, number of weights, amount of time. It's a little bit harder around performance things. Action. Your goal must require an action that you can control. Believe it or not, penalties given away you can control. It's not the referee. You are in control of that as a coach. about how you coach and what you expect your players to be doing to avoid penalty situations. You can't control the weather. You can't control the opposition. And you can't control the ground conditions. Just about everything else in the game of rugby, you with the crowd, you can't control. Everything else in the game of rugby, you can control. It's about you making an action. The goal has to be about an action that you are doing, your team are doing, or your player is doing. Okay? It's got to be realistic, challenging but achievable. Well, how I was sitting the team a couple of years ago, sat down and told them that they were going to achieve a minimum of less than 5 missed tackles and less than 5 turnovers a game. I laughed. That's what we do it. We never did it once. Make it achievable. Make it challenging, make it achievable. It might depend on what that individual is like, what that team is like. Once they've got it, then you reset it. And if they've got it, celebrate it. Don't just celebrate, really celebrate it as a team or as an individual. The same with your own goals, when you've made your own goals or your team has made those goals, give yourself a pat on the back, because that's your approach. So make them realistic. The goal that I want to be a wild man, okay, so I'm going to be saying I'm going to be a wild man, is actually a good goal, because everyone's got to have to reach somewhere. But they've got to put down the steps to get to that staircase. Just if I want to be a wild man, Richie McCaw, Richie's book, and one of the great things about sports psychology and business psychology is you find someone who's really successful and try to copy it. There's probably no better person to cover about this hobby about mental skills than Richie. The first bit of his book, before the book, he tells you how he set his goals when he left the first 15 of the Otago boys and got off on a scholarship at Canada. He sat down with an uncle who played first class rugby. And he set the goal of making the New Zealand under-19s that next year, making the New Zealand under-21s in 2 years, and then moving all back in 5. Okay? He was all back in 2. And he had a staircase pathway that he was going down. And he set out how he was actually, what he had to do to get there. Richie also, if you read his book, he writes his goals down for every single game on a Friday night before the race. Every game he sits down and rewrites those goals. What he wants to achieve in that game. Now often they are the same things. That's fine. It just reinforces to it. But it's fucking down. You have to admit it. It's not just, people might know Richie, he is the most consistent player in international rugby in the last 2 years. Right? His consistency comes from his mental training. And he has trained himself to do that. It works. Right? Johnny Wilkinson, another great example. Every time Johnny kicked a goal, if you read his autobiography, there was a woman in the stand that he was aiming at. Imaginary woman in the stand. About 10 rows back, right in the middle of the black dot. When Johnny comes down and sits there and does this, and looks up, you know what he's looking at? He's looking at that woman in the stand. That's where that ball's going. It's not going over the crossbar, it's not just somebody for some big goal. It's hitting that woman 10 rows back. He set that goal to hit that woman 95% or 100% achieved around the 90. Give them something that they have. Right? They'll think that they'll come back and say, and set a timeline. So set a timeline. You should have both short-term goals, and it might be around this game. What's your goal about this game? As an individual, as a team, it might be about this season. As a player, you should be, and you as a coach, you should be setting them where I want to be in 3 years, 5 years. Encourage them to challenge them. Because if you don't, and they're just doing it by ropes, they become play more than well. Give them a challenge. If you identify as someone that you think could go to those next levels of rugby, say to them, I think you could get there. But you're going to have to accept themselves and plan to do it. Very few of them want to get there, but they'll thank you. That's what you as coaches should be doing. We're part of their development. We're never going to be part of their total outcome. Right? We're not at that level. But take a real your success and pat yourself on the back and be part of that development. It's someone you've had something to do with has gone up to a level. It's somewhere along the line. It's professional rugby, international rugby, give yourself a little pat on the back. Yeah, I was part of that. that's about setting. Now, I'm just going to give you a couple of examples. This is what I use. These are the key performance indicators. This is my University Accounting Premier slide. In setting team goals, you need to set them with your team. They don't work if you impose them. They don't work if you get a buy-in. So this is what our goals were. We sat down at the beginning of the season at a camp, and we sat down and set, and you can't read it particularly well, but our top one was around fitness. What sort of things were we going to measure? We were measuring in strength, power, cleans, bench presses, and squats. So they all had, we all did baseline testing, and then followed them on speed testing, fitness testing, and skill benchmarks around passing, kicking, evasion, defence, etc. Right, then we had a series of goals which Joe's going to probably follow on from. And this is called teamwork, and this is about culture, about that we would follow the chain of command on the field. If Captain said something, we followed. Didn't matter if we disagreed with it or not. That was our goal as a team, to be right behind our leader. Right? About reporting availability if they were injured, about reporting injuries if they were injured, about showing up for games, about being at post-matches, right, at post-matches, about training, about the coach being on time to start and on time to finish. We were under a box penalty every time we were late. They got a fair bit of it, piss out us the first year. Okay. But then we had performances about our set piece, about our line out, our scrum, our line breaks, our kickoffs, and then around our breakdowns, our defence, our kicking, and then finally the outcome of the score. And the readers where we didn't achieve them. So on this particular week, when we played with Brighton, there was 6 that we didn't achieve. You see it was mainly green, and we won the game 48-7. Okay, it was our key performance win. Yeah, this is a fairly high level team. A lot of the guys in this are now playing professional rugby. They weren't at this time, but they have since graduated to professional rugby. We'd have someone that did our stats for us, but we put this up on the sheet on a Tuesday. We talked it through. Yeah, I've done this with teams that are 12s, 13s, 14s on a much smaller scale, but it works when you get an idea. Give you an idea when it doesn't work. Here's another game from the same season that you can see the roster Christchurch 14-24. Look at the red squares, long red squares. So if we didn't perform, we didn't get our key performance indicators, just like business. We didn't get them. And the players quickly learned that this dashboard approach was a really good way for them to see, yeah, we let ourselves down. In this game, we let ourselves down at set play. So our training as a coach for that week was around set play. Around getting line-outs, because that's what let us down. So it gave us as coaches, it gave us a mechanism, a vehicle to know what we were doing well and what we were doing. So that's a sort of performance indicator sort of approach you can use, and you can simplify it down quite a bit. Right? These are examples of ones that I've used for individuals. This is one for a guy obviously at school, and one that we learned for players, and I think they were in the academy last year. This is their outcomes. So what selection goals did they have around club? This was in their off-season, in their school, and in their representative. What teams did they want to make through the year? And did they want to be a star or just a squad? Where did they want to be? Where did they want to be next year? Where did they want to be in 2 years' time? And what was their ultimate goal of the win? Now, some guys, their ultimate goal was just to play first grade football. That's fine. Some guys was to be a Wallaby in 10 years. That's fine as well. Okay. But get from them and see it, especially if you've got a player that comes to you and says, and you'll find it, or give you feedback, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? Say, well, the first thing you do is sit down and do a plan. Right? Do a plan of where you want to be. And where do you think you need to do it? And then we can work through it together. Okay? So the second part of that is there's this sheet about their skills and fitness. Again, this was for school age kids. So, what was the outcome they wanted to achieve? Right? What was the performance indicator? If it was, I want to be a better kicker, for example, the performance indicator was, okay, that we're going to get 70% of our kicks, because it's hard to put a number on. Some days you kick a lot, some days you don't. Same attack, percentages. Performance indicator was 70% of our kicks being in the right place landing in the right place, and they'll get either contestable or out or whatever they were exit kicks. Okay, what I need to require to achieve it, I need to spend, it might be 30 minutes kicking a week, so I need to do 20 odd practices of those, in my own time, normally. How do we measure it? If it was the throws, it was like hitting the posts, if it was the jumps, could have been in the game in the case. Okay? And then a question, did I achieve it? And it was around fitness. Did I go for those 30 minutes? Did I do that strength training? Because if you don't write it down, there's a fair chance you won't do it. It's like at home, especially as you get older. If you don't write it down, it doesn't happen. Okay? Get kids used to doing that. Now, they might take this on at 12, 13, 14, 15, but it's like any skill. Like when you first time you coach someone to do a new skill, only 10% of them get it. The second time, gets to 50%, then gets to 90%, then 100%. New skills are no different. So don't be disillusioned if some guys don't pick it up. But the more we keep enforcing them this, the better they'll be. And these are life skills. These aren't just rugby skills. This is about what's going to help them with business, relationships, right in life. This is making them better people, which is part of what we should be trying to do as well. Because they're not all going to be wise, very few of them will. But if we can make them better people, then we've done a real good service. I was just going to end with a couple of quotes from various people. Don't ask me to get half of them out of my probably right and all that. People with goals succeed because they know where they're going. If you don't know, you're like a rudderless lawyer or a bloke, you just cruising around the bloke, you have no idea. Goals that are